there she is. There's Madam.
Hello po. Good
Lu.
evening.
Okay. Do you do the honors, Maestra Ana?
Opo, good evening po, Dr.
Good
Lu.
evening, Ana.
Opo,
Nice to
tinatawag ko
meet you.
siyang
Virtual.
Dr. Lu kasi ang kanyang buong pangalan is Lourdes Tanhueco-Nepomuceno. Siya po ay isa sa ating mga awardees or laureates ng Awards for Promoting Philippine-China Understanding under the Outstanding category. Magandang gabi po at maraming salamat po sa pagpapa-unlock po sa inyo, po sa amin sa pag-i-interview po sa inyo. At i-introduce ko po kayo properly para po malaman ng ating mga audience at mga kabansa. Medyo mahaba-haba ng konti kamentong
Sure,
pala is
go ahead.
also co-awardees po. Meet the co-awardees po.
Yeah. Kumusta po?
Buti naman. Very happy to meet you and to know you.
Happy to meet you too.
I have been very active in some years past, no, with some of your people there at Angeles University, like Kevin Pamintuan. You know him?
Ano po, I was with Angeles University 6 years ago.
Okay.
And then
Well,
I moved to Diliman after AUF.
Yeah. Well, I seem
University
to
of the
be.
Philippines-Diliman po ako ngayon with Chancellor Mike Tan.
Yeah. Okay, we have a brief bio note about you here, but let's go back to Maestra Ana.
Okay, I will introduce Dr. Lu. Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco-Nepomuceno is a true academician and esteemed public intellectual. Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco-Nepomuceno is a Filipino with Chinese ancestry who takes pride in her bicultural roots. She was born and raised in Angeles, Pampanga, where she obtained her bachelor degree in education, major in English and general science. With as an honor student, no, cum laude po si Dr. Lu. Her inherent passion for knowledge and learning led her to years of further study in the field of education. She has a Master's of Education degree in Communication Arts, reading from the University of the Philippines-Diliman, a Post-Masteral Degree in School Administration and Supervision with distinction at the Johns Hopkins University in Maryland in the United States, and a Doctor of Philosophy in Education, major in Educational Management and Leadership obtained at the De La Salle University in Manila. Backed by her robust academic training and relevant professional, corporate, and international experience in both private and public sector, Dr. Nepomuceno is a visionary in her own right. This enabled her to anticipate the needs and demands of emergent realities in a globalized world. In an era where China is no longer viewed as another player but a formidable force to reckon with in globalization, Dr. Nepomuceno employs her knowledge and passion in aiding communities to bridge major socio-cultural gaps through language and communication arts. Being herself a product of two cultures, Filipino and Chinese, not only makes her appreciate her roots, but also enables her to navigate her way into advancing her passion for education. Hence, in 2009, beginning with her hometown of Angeles, Pampanga. By the way, my husband po is from Pampanga, Angeles City din po. Dr. Nepomuceno co-established the Confucius Institute at the Angeles University Foundation. Among others, the Institute promotes an understanding and appreciation of Chinese culture and the teaching of Mandarin language. In 2015, Dr. Nepomuceno was welcomed by the University of the Philippines-Diliman to lead the establishment of the Confucius Institute. Ito ngayon yung Confucius Institute in Diliman.
Yes.
No? Over the years, Dr. Nepomuceno has built up many ties with government entities, city colleges and universities, as well as private sector, to the extent that the Confucius Institute at the University of the Philippines-Diliman has now the broadest outreach in Mandarin and Mandarin lessons. In both setup, Dr. Nepomuceno holds the distinction of being the pioneer Filipino director. Wow. It is noteworthy that her commitment to education in general and advocacy for the appreciation of Chinese language and culture have also benefited Philippine societies. Specifically during the term of Education Secretary Brother Amin Luistro, Dr. Nepomuceno initiated and advanced the inclusion of the Mandarin language in the K-12 curriculum of the Department of Education as a special program in foreign language. The program greatly facilitates the diversification of the skill sets of Filipinos and provides them a headway in employment all over and also personal development and worldwide. No, it is for this effort that the Association for Philippine-China Understanding, or APPCU, and the Award for Promoting Philippine-China Understanding, or APPCU, recognized Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco-Nepomuceno as an inspiration and wealth to Philippine society and the global Filipino and the Chinese community. So that's why she is one of our awardees, because of the so many things that she have done in promoting culture. It's much more, I think, on the cultural side, no, like language, culture exchanges, and also the build up of the two institutes actually, no,
Yes.
sa Angeles and University Foundation and in the UP Diliman. Welcome po to our program, and marami pong nanonood sa inyo po.
And welcome, Ka Herman.
Yes.
Ka Herman.
Good evening po. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me tonight. And I'm grateful that I met you. And I've heard your name before, Ka Herman, but I'm glad to meet you virtually, face to face.
Thank you. And for Maestra Ana to catch her breath, let's give her some time, and I will go through some of the direct results, positive results of your work because of the requirement for Mandarin in some of the Philippine institutions like the Department of Science and Technology. I think you had this program. You have a picture here with Chica Santa Romana about your extensions with the DOST. And you also have helped the Department of Foreign Affairs Foreign Service Institute.
Yes.
Likewise, the Bureau of Immigration has availed of your assistance. And I can remember in 2018 this picture where you were and with the president of UP in the, I think this is called the inauguration or the launching of the UP Confucius Institute. I was there in that occasion, just in front of all of you there, taking some pictures and videos, and I remember it very clearly. But I was 4 years younger at that time, and I remember that after that I inquired, and there were delays of the with the Confucius Institute in UP. There were some discussions about it amongst the faculty. I understand. Now maybe you can clarify some of the events and what is the status now of the Confucius Institute in the University of the Philippines? Because I was waiting for quite some time, hoping to take my language lessons in UP, because at that time I was staying in Quezon City to be nearer. But then I've moved to Pasig, and so it's far. But what's the status? So I'm giving you a lot of things to discuss. But I'd like to also to say, I think sometime 2016, 2017, I covered some of your activities in the Confucius Institute in Angeles University. I met your head Chinese, or what do you call her, principal or what?
Chinese director.
Director. I had several discussions with her, but your effort at establishing it in 2009 was the first effort in setting up a Confucius Institute. Am I correct there?
Yes, actually, that was the introduction, and we attended the global conference in 2009. But the actual inauguration of Confucius Institute at AUF was in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, according to Hanban, the funding agency of CIs before, they actually approached University of the Philippines first because they want to top the national university. But it took 8 years for UP to say yes and establish the Confucius Institute. Because as a national university, there are a lot of consultations to be made before you can decide in a national university. So that took a while, and so they approached Ateneo, and that's why Ateneo de Manila University was the first CI in the Philippines, which was established in 2006, and UP was established in 2015. So that long before they were able to decide to establish one at the University of the Philippines.
Mm.
And since the establishment of UP in 2015, and there was a Chinese director who took over first before I joined, because it takes a while to process the papers in UP. So when I was hired to manage the institute, then our Confucius Institute in UP took off, and until now it's thriving well, because we have a different model that we used. All CIs are established to promote Chinese language and culture. Okay, that is our mission. All of us, that is our mission to establish. But we remain apolitical, and we just deal with Chinese language education. And we know that Chinese language education exerts influence in the mainstream society. So what the Confucius Institute in UP did was to tap a multi-sectoral part of the society. Therefore, we tap the key government agencies in the Philippines. And our first project was partnering with the Foreign Service Institute of the Department of Foreign Affairs. We signed the MOA and we started our classes. And the model that we use is a different model from the other Confucius Institutes, because what the Department of Foreign Affairs asked us is to make sure that the would-be or the prospective ambassadors and consuls will have to finish 100 hours of Mandarin, whether it is level 1, level 2, level 3. So 80% of that is focused on language, and 10% is focused on language appreciation, which is more on the cultural side. And we were able to graduate 3 batches already. And we are still in the process of conducting classes there. And this time, because of the pandemic, we do it remotely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I remember. I remember one name now. Dr. Wu.
Yes.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
now back in
Jimmy
Fujian
Wu.
province.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy. Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy
Yes.
finished his term. They only have a 2-year term.
And who replaced Jimmy? Jimmy Wu.
There was another one, but he did not really support the CI, UP. So he was recalled by Xiamen University, our partner university. So a lady Chinese director, Wang Jiajia, took over, and we were able to work together, but her term also finished. So we have an incoming Chinese director, and because of the pandemic and the travel restrictions, she is not with me yet. So I am doing everything just like before, making sure that we have a full support to the contracts and the MOAs that we signed with the key government agencies. Pre-pandemic and pandemic, the only difference is that it is remote teaching and learning now, but it's all the same.
Yeah, Maestra Ana, you have any questions for
Yes
the
po.
Doctora?
Dr. Lu, when you talk about teaching, in terms of teachers po, are all Chinese or Filipino Chinese or a combination?
Yes. As regards to our teachers, University of the Philippines-Diliman is very selective. They want the Chinese teachers to be at par with the university professors. Therefore, our teachers are not local teachers. They are not Chinese from Binondo or where else. They come from Xiamen University with master's degree and doctoral degree because they are under the visiting professorship program of the University of the Philippines. Therefore, they have to meet the necessary qualifications.
Oh, in
That
UP
is
po ba?
why,
I'm
yes, sorry.
no
That is
ma'am.
why,
Continue,
aside
ma'am.
from teaching non-degree and credit courses in different city colleges and universities, they are allowed to handle master's degree students in UP because of their degree. They have
Mm.
PhD. So that is
Ah,
another unique feature of our CI. All our teachers are masters and PhD holders.
wow. So
Yes.
it's really like high level, and you're really
Yes, they are high level.
high
Yeah.
level, no? It's not just an institute that teaches language and that's it,
No.
no?
Yeah. The degree is so
Yeah,
important in UP because it is our national university.
university. Yes, I understand po. I'm from UP too.
Yeah, yeah. And they are visiting professors. They are actually under the visiting professorship. That's why we can afford to give them a working visa.
Ah, yeah, that's great
Yes.
po.
Yes.
So in the institute po, it there are other activities like, for example, one of that is in engagement, no? And then like
Yes.
you have engagement and community service with partner organization like the
Yes.
DFA and the Bureau of
Immigration.
Immigration. But and on the other hand, do you do research as well in the institute po?
Yes. In our institute, we follow the three important uh, aspects of being a UP entity. One of them is teaching, another is community engagement, and the third one is research. We are very active in researches. In fact, I did some research, two researches, wherein one was presented at the University of Hawaii in Manoa last January. So I went there and I was one of the speakers on language pedagogy at the University of Hawaii in Manoa. So the Center for Chinese Language there, Chinese Studies, invited me as one of the speakers. And we were, I think, around 30 from all over the world. And fortunately, I was the only one from the Philippines and representing the University of the Philippines. And that research was funded by UP-Diliman. It was a research grant wherein I presented it to at the University of Hawaii in Manila.
In terms of exchanges and dialogue, do we also, like, for example, send our student to China, to the Xiamen University, and Xiamen University will send students here?
Yes,
Do you have that kind of
yes. In
activities?
fact, before the pandemic, I assisted my UP masteral students who are taking international marketing to Xiamen University. And we were there for a week for the experiential learning portion of the course. So professors from Xiamen University handled the international marketing courses, short courses for them. And that is the final exam was done there at Xiamen University. And
Wow.
then in the meantime, while my students are attending classes conducted by Xiamen University professors, I actually guest lectured, one of the guest lecturers of the College of Foreign Studies. And that is where I discuss the language pedagogy and also the Belt and Road, the Philippine style. So I was able to really promote the Philippine-China understanding there because the audience were actually PhD students from all over the world. They are foreign students, not only Chinese, but foreign students. So they got a feel of how we promote Philippine-Chinese relationship, our bilateral relations. So I gave them my background information, and then we had a dialogue. And it was a healthy, productive meeting because some of the notions that the media has been, publishing in the media was entirely different from what they heard from me. So they said it is really an eye-opener for them. So actually, that was the second lecture I conducted at Xiamen University. And we also have experts from Xiamen University who visits UP, and they also give lectures to UP students. And our partner, city colleges and universities.
So is it safe to assume that you speak Mandarin also?
Well, very little.
We're the
But I
same. We're
can
the
understand.
same.
Yes.
We're the same. I'm also.
Anyway, when Hanban, our funding agency, conducted our executive training for foreign directors, they emphasized to us that Confucius Institutes are clearly soft power diplomacy tools. But we are apolitical, wherein we do not deal with politics, whether it is politics in China or politics in the Philippines. Our mission here is to promote Chinese language education so that we will be able to reach the grassroots of the Philippine mainstream society. We do not only deal with students who go to private universities, but the Confucius Institute in UP top the city colleges, wherein these colleges are subsidized by city mayors. Therefore, the students are all scholars. They come from the grassroots. So we give them an opportunity to actually make a difference in their lives. So by not just staying here and by learning Mandarin, that is an edge on their part. And they will be able to actually work, even if they will not finish a 4-year degree course, because they have an edge. So that is our mission as a Confucius Institute. We don't deal with politics. We are apolitical.
Yeah. Well, for the past 10 years, it has been my ambition to join one of the courses in the Ateneo CI or Angeles is too far, but UP was one option.
UP
But I'm getting
is open.
older.
We conduct,
But I'm getting older and older, and time was a constraint. Now added the years. Well, I had 6 years of school Mandarin studies, but I never really learned to speak nor read the newspaper. But it's always very interesting to, a dream to become fluent again in Mandarin. But you mentioned something about the uniqueness of your program in the UP Confucius Institute. Is it in the language program itself, a different approach in teaching? Because I really have been thinking about the different approaches to learning
Yes, we are more
Mandarin.
integrative and academic.
Mm-hmm.
We don't only deal with non-degree courses, but we deal with courses with the credit courses mandated by CHED. And so we do not, we teach non-degree courses. We have a lot of students. In fact, if you are a UP student, administrator, faculty, or alumni, our Mandarin is free for them, for UP.
Wow.
Yes. And for the rest, we assess a very minimal fee. And if they belong to a government agency, if they work in any government agency, their Mandarin lesson is also free. But these are group classes.
So, Mom,
yes, Anna?
Mom, I will enroll.
Yeah, sure.
I want to
sure. Now that we are doing it remotely, feel free. Yeah, let me know. Yeah, and Herman, you are welcome to join us.
Yeah.
We have the next cycle in September.
Even outsiders are allowed to enroll.
Yes, you can enroll. And then we have actually our one-on-one classes are for Xavier and Ika students. We have a lot of students wherein we also conduct reviews for their HSK exam.
Wow.
The
And
one-on-one is
all our students who were reviewed by our CI passed the HSK with flying colors.
okay. That's great.
Yes,
And the one-on-one is there at the UP, or it's
yes.
homeschooling or only Zoom schooling?
Now that it is pandemic, it's remote.
Mm.
But
But if
some
it,
students, they come on Saturdays to UP-Diliman.
okay.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay,
really, really, really good to know because I've been thinking
Yes.
about enrolling in Mandarin. That now that an alumni of UP is free, then I will
Yes.
take it. I will
Sure.
take it.
Join the next cycle and it will be available in September.
Opo.
And
Ma'am,
as
I have
mentioned earlier, yeah, our teachers are from Xiamen University, and their courses are really their major is language teaching. So they can,
wow. So
yeah,
you will learn really, and it's
yeah, that's
from
right.
them. No,
Yeah.
do you have
ma'am, I
a
have.
doctor?
Sige po.
Yeah, Anna. Go ahead, Anna.
No, sir. Ikaw muna po.
But sige. I was just going to ask if Dr.
Dr. Lu.
Nepomuceno, Dr. Lu, has some insight on the Filipino or Tagalog language being taught in Beijing. I visited, for example, the China Radio International, and they have a floor there where everybody speaks, including the Chinese, that speaks Filipino and Tagalog. I wonder if you have
Yes.
had experience to visit them in their own Filipino
Yeah, we
language school.
visited. Yes, we visited some of the students there, and we actually observed. And I think Ateneo de Manila has a program. I'm not sure if it is in Beijing or other parts of China, but they have a program. So as other universities, because there is a need. No? So to understand the country, you should at least know the language and the culture.
I think so. I would agree with you, Dr. Lu.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Mom, I have a question because this is much more on your work, no? You are instrumental in the inclusion of Mandarin language in the K-12 curriculum of the Department of Education as a special program in foreign language. My question is, why is it important what for young people or young students to learn Mandarin po? And what do you think is the advantage or what would be the advantage for Filipinos, especially the younger ones, that they know the language? And that's why you put it into the K-12 curriculum po.
Yes. Any language opens new vistas, not only economically, not only for economics, but all aspects of daily life. Maybe many Filipinos are unaware that many of our dishes come from China, Chinese,
Yes.
Chinese food, and we deal with the food vendors, and some of our words are also Spanish in nature. No, so actually we Filipinos have different because we were colonized by Spain, by the US. So all these languages come into play. And learning Mandarin naman is not only on the economic side, it opens new opportunities for students. And they were interviewed during their course there. And after our trip, 2 of them were hired.
Wow.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
They attended the experiential learning in Xiamen. And because of their learning exposure, they were able to, get a job in one in Shenzhen and one in Xiamen. So
Wow.
they open different aspects in life, not only
Yes.
economics, but other opportunities abound, no, for them. That is why ADepEd realized that offering a foreign language like the SPFL program of DepEd opens doors, opportunities for grades 7 to 12. That's where the SPFL program is being offered. So 4 units lang, no, for foreign language. So they have the option to take Mandarin, Spanish, German, Korean, Spanish, and French.
Mhm.
So they are actually lucky to have all these options nowadays. Not like
Yes.
before. We have very limited opportunities before, right?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
And when they will say, you take commerce, commerce is now the business administration. And business administration has a lot of and other different majors. Not like before, only one. Now they open doors for them, even from K to 12. So the K to 12 program is very significant because they have the option to take a foreign language from grade 7 to 12.
Especially for our tourists, right? No,
Yeah.
I think 2 year before the pandemic, we have a lot of Chinese tourists in the country, and they visit. And I think if like some of our young people will be working part time in the tourist industry and they know Mandarin, easy communication.
Let me cite an example. We also partnered with the government-owned and controlled corporations such as the Subic, the SBMA, the Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, and the Clark Development Corporations. And there are several thousands of locators inside these eco zones.
Mhm.
What we did with SBMA and CDC was to offer Mandarin to their employees because pre-pandemic, there were ships that were docked in Subic. So we trained their employees so that they became the tour guides of the tourists, Chinese tourists. Chinese tourists who go to casinos in Subic and Clark.
Yes.
Yes, we were instrumental in that. So we opened doors to SBMA and Clark employees to specifically their tourism sector, and they were able to, the very basic, but they were able to converse with them. So
Yes,
there were
that's I
a
think.
lot of, because when the ship comes, there were several hundreds of Chinese tourists. So what they did before pre-pandemic, they go from Subic, they go to Clark to play casino and to go to the bars and have a good time and shop. So the students and two of the city colleges that we are training are based in Clark. We have the City
Mm.
College of Angeles and Mabalacat City College. So some of the students there were part-time employees that time, pre-pandemic. See
They
what
earn. They earn.
learning a foreign language they can make a difference in the lives of the students.
Yes, especially those who really need some extra income to finance
Yes,
their
yes,
studies, no?
that's right.
That's
Yes.
really, really important. Kamento, do you
Yes,
have
yes. Well, I think those who have learned, I've known some of them, young people who learned some Mandarin, immediately get higher wages in some of the companies around town. No? So that's already an immediate advantage. Um, so I think we should really salute the efforts of Dr. Lu
yes.
and a pioneer of that in this field. And I think her explanations are crystal clear. There are some points here, nagtuturo, let me see, very informative,
From
and
the
I enjoyed
audience.
listening to Dr. Lourdes Tanhueco-Nepomuceno. I like the topic on Chinese-Philippine relations. This is from Hoven, Federio. There are others here. I have to scroll through them, so I don't think we have the time anymore. So I think it's such a inspiring discussion and inspiring personality that we have met tonight. Dr. Lu, thank you very much. Madam Ana, you do the honors of thanking our guest.
Yes po. But before we thank our guest, my last question po is, what do you think, ma'am, is the importance of promoting Philippine-China mutual understanding, friendship, and good relation? And your last closing message to our audience, which actually responded to you very positively. Ang dami pong nasa ano namin na they enjoyed our conversation po ngayon.
So, leading Confucius Institute at UP amidst the current crisis and during its current infrastructure, kasi po nag-rebranding ang Hanban. Ang Hanban, yung dati namin funding agency. Ngayon, with the rebranding, with the COVID, so leading CI is a challenge, a big challenge. So what we did, we reinvented the wheel, no? And we deal with, with a lot of projects remotely. So there is limited mobility and everything like that. But what we did, we did a great deal of reimagination. Reimagination and reforms to stay relevant and meaningful. So we will continuously add new vigor to the great purpose of the Chinese language education in the Philippines, and we will remain at the forefront of educational and cultural diplomacy, which means promoting Philippine-China relations.
With that, we would
Right.
like to thank you, Mom, for gracing our show.
Thank you
and
for having me.
For being here. Congratulations po. I'll see you on August 6th during
Okay,
the awarding
thank you.
ceremony.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Congratulations.
See you
See you on
then.
the 6th.
Congrats din po sa inyo, Ka-Herman.
Salamat po.
See you.
Salamat po.
And thanks,
Thank
Miss
you.
Anna. We'll
Thank
keep
you
in
po,
touch.
ma'am. Yes,
You're
ma'am.
welcome.
Definitely. Yes, ma'am.
Yan
Thank
po
you.
si Ginang Lourdes Tanhueco-Nepomuceno na nakasama po natin. At maraming salamat sa kanya at sa mga tulad niya. At ang Pilipinas at ang China ay lalong iigting ang kooperasyon at magpapatuloy ang 1,000 ugnayan bilang kaibigan at kapatid. Thank you very much again and good night. Good day, Madam Tanhueco-Nepomuceno.
Thank you.